Sanchez Ruiz has taken the opening rack from Ion Ladany of Romania.
Well, Joshua Filler, what a way to announce your presence at the European Open. It got kicked 3 times and straight in the top pocket.
Great players do great things, and they also have their share of luck. What a start that was. What an introduction. Joshua Filler, no wonder he's beaming from ear to ear. You know, in Britain, when someone's lucky, we say they're golden. That was a golden break in more ways than one.
Yeah, if you have just tuned in and you're wondering what was all that about, if you pop the 9 ball on the break, you win the rack. He's got it moving again.
Yeah, what a difference in break-offs this is. A couple of clusters. And already you can see this is going to be quite an awkward table. So the minimum amount of time was needed to resolve the first rack. It's going to be a much lengthier amount of time to resolve the second.
Wasn't a great safety shot from Josh. Maybe that's the weakness in his game. I mean, that's a strong statement because obviously we know how good Josh is, but he's such a firepower player and a prolific potter, doesn't really miss many balls. And the way this format has set up, this new break rule that you have heard us speak about relentlessly, he's going to have to be a bit more astute with the safeties because they're going to come up. This is why we've brought this rule in, because the table looks a little bit messy, doesn't it? So it means the more creative player, the better pool player, he's going to be more adept in these situations. I think he was trying to pop the 9 there. I feel like he spotted some sort of billiard. So what might look like a bit of a whack, I think he was trying to pop the 9. And can Joshua hold position for the red 3? Maybe plays into it if he can't. Oh, he's gone up off the top and straight back down, so that's fine. And these balls are all sat nice. Sit back and enjoy watching the best pool player on the planet right now.
Yeah, he's not the world champion, of course. That is Shane Van Boening. And he has expressed the opinion that his biggest disappointment so far this year was the World Championship when he was beaten in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, every player wants to win the World Championships. He has won it before, of course. But he's had some season. I mean, you want to be a world champion, but would you swap being world champion for his season? You probably would, but he has won some amount of tournaments this year, he really has.
Yeah, second on the money list behind only Russia's Fedor Gorst, who's been hoovering up titles over in the States. Well, I was saying that it could be a lengthy rack. It wasn't really, was it? Once Filler got in, it was over in no time. He doubles his advantage. Joshua Filler leads 2-0. Now, it was all over in a flash, wasn't it, the first rack? So it might be worth seeing that golden break again. Here we go.
Yeah, it was actually the cue ball that hit it first, and because the players are playing a cup break, you might see that more often than not now, because the cue ball's coming off that side rail and back into the pack. But I believe that's the first one. Well, it's the first one I've commentated on. I don't know if you've seen another one, Phil, yesterday.
It's the first one on this table, definitely.
Yeah, watch the cue ball. He's coming off the side rail, back into the stack. Cue ball often, you just can't control it. This is the beauty. So now he's going to be faced with a horrible shot on the 2. But I tell you what he is doing, Phil. He's made the one ball on all of his breaks. I know he's only had 3 breaks, but he has definitely found that sweet spot of pocketing the one ball in the side. Is he attacking this? Likes to go for his shots. Has he fluked the 8? He hasn't. But he's had a pretty decent roll there. I'm sure this is the first time we've seen GJ on our TV screens. And what a match he's been drawn against. Josh is going airborne, he's getting the jump cue out. Usually the players get the cues out before the match, so this is why we've just got a small delay, because Josh is too busy screwing the cue together. I think he's just going to play off the bottom side of the blue 2 and get the cue ball down table and just leave a bit of distance. Let's see if he can get this cue together.
Of course, that would have been pre-screwed together had it been a 30-second shot clock. Oh my. Oh my.
Well, he's made a 9 on the break, and he wasn't playing this. He's hit it too thin. I mean, that's what it looks like. He's hit it on top of the ball, actually. I'd like to get another look at that one. That looks unbelievable. Well, they do say the more you practice, the luckier you get, and there's no one that practices as hard as this man. He is a relentless, Phil, on the table. Every day, serious hours get put in.
Well, I made this point at another event we did earlier this year, the UK Open, when I think he had a little bit of luck and someone was saying, well, you know, he's got a reputation for being a little fortunate. It is true what you say. The more you practice, the luckier you get. I don't know why, but it really does ring true in cue sports. And of course, Fulda's ability plus a good run of the ball, the equation there is unbeatable. Absolutely no alarms so far. The golden break in the first rack, and then a couple of conventional racks, albeit sprinkled in with one extraordinary jump shot to pot the 2. Joshua Fulda leads by 3 racks to 0. His wife, Pia Fulda, who's engaged over on table 13 against Talal Abdullah Shaheen. Well, Pia's doing nicely. She's 6-4 ahead. Not many first round matches left to be completed right now. Of course, the initial aim is to get into that winners round 1, which Fulda is a third of the way towards.
This time he missed the 1 ball in the side. He has put the 2 ball though in this corner. Just hit the middle point, didn't he? So he's definitely got that shot in range. Can he pot the 1? If he can, good luck getting on the red 3 ball. Red 3 ball is the next ball after the 1. can play a push out as well. It's actually quite a tricky spot he's in here. No disrespect to GJ, but I think Joshua will have clocked off GJ's opening couple of shots that he probably feels like he's not going to be a big threat. So this type of push out and safety does change a little bit. You feel like you don't have to be as aggressive. If you're playing one of the top players in the world, you've got to be very careful what you're leaving. Maybe Josh is just thinking, well, I can be a bit, I wouldn't say looser, but you don't have to be as clinical. You can play the player in a game of pool.
Yeah, just what I was going to say, when it comes to the push-out then, Carl, what you're saying is, depending on the ability and the status of your opponent, that dictates how you push out. It's not the table as such, it's a movable feast.
100%, because let's just take Tony Drago, the man we commentated on earlier today. He would openly admit he's not the strongest with the jump cue, so if you're playing Tony, maybe you push out into a few more jump shots. And it's paid off. GJ's gone for the pot, he's missed it. Fulda's back at the table. This is a nice shot coming up for Josh, so he's got to draw down this left side table. Doesn't need to get too silly. A lot will depend on that pink 4 ball. If that doesn't pass that 8 ball, he's trying to flick the 4, I think. Is he trying to flick the 4? Good shot though. Well, we'll know in a minute about this pink 4. Well, it must go.
Giants of the game playing on either side of this arena on the main match tables. Eklund Kachi did complete that 9-3 victory over Matthew Wrigley, so now already underway. Over on table 2, Shane Van Boning against Martin Breuer.
What a time to be alive. If you're watching pool, you've got Joshua Fulda on table 1, SVB, the world champion, on table 2. This is a fast start for the killer, Joshua Fulda. We knew it would be like this.
Yeah, looks really good, doesn't he? He's now 4-0 ahead. Entirely comfortable, entirely relaxed, and in stroke. Now, I was telling you that Shane Van Boning is playing Martin Breuer over on table 2. You can watch all of that action, by the way, if you want to access the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. We're going to just dip over there to get the early flavour of that match. What I was going to say was, Fabian Breuer, who has got exactly the same spelling for his surname, is currently locked together at 6 racks each with David Al-Qaedi. I wonder whether they're related.
Yeah, we will find that out for you pool fans. SVB sporting a very jazzy shirt for this event. I'll be keeping a close eye on SVB's break. Back to the action. Joshua Fulda again pockets the 1 ball. Now we're really seeing a story breaking out here with this break shot. We've just been waiting for the creme de la creme of 9 ball. Again, the 1 ball, side pocket. We're seeing some of the weaker players having a bit of a nightmare with the break. It's not a nightmare for Josh. This is looking good.
When he won the 256 player UK Open at the Copper Box Arena in East London, the way he finished off against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz had to be seen to be believed. It was one break and run out after the next. Brilliant pool under the most extreme pressure. can tell you Shane Van Boning has drawn first blood against Martin Breuer. And it looks as though Fulda's going to take a 5-0 lead here, Cole.
Yeah, just a little bit short of pace. Still expect Josh to pop this ball, which he does. So now it's guaranteed over.
There you go. 5-zip it is. I can tell you David Al-Kadi has now gone 7-6 up on Fabian Breuer over on table 16. The winner of the filler match, by the way, will take on a German, Fabian Neglein or Raphael Wahl. They're yet to start. Pia Filler improving all the time. She's 7-4 up now on Talal Abdullah Shaheen. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, in many respects, the man of the moment in European pool. He's 3-2 down to Ion Ladany. Is this going to be a repeat of what happened at the UK Open when he lost his first match? Found himself 6-0 down in his second, won that 9-8, and then went from strength to strength to reach the final. No such early teething problems for Alexander Kazakis. He's 7-1 up on Paul Taylor as the Filler Roadshow, and that one ball in the centre continues.
Yeah, he is dialed into perfection. This has been the best breaking I've seen so far on centre court. Oh, it's an exhibition now. He's putting on an exhibition. Beautiful shot there. Cue ball off 4 rails. Well, Phil, I don't think we'll have much work left to do soon. We'll be getting an early dinner.
Yeah, JJ and Michael will be moaning their heads off, won't they? They're doing the overtime, comparatively speaking. Who did this rota? Oh, it was me, sorry.
You keep doing that rota, buddy. You keep doing it.
You know, there's different criteria for greats in any sport, and I think one of the criteria has to be their ability to make the game look easy. And that's what Filler does. He makes it look preposterously easy.
Yeah, I liken him to Van Gerwen, Michael Van Gerwen at darts, just the way he plays darts. You know, he's a phenomenon, and you know, Josh has just got that air about him, hasn't he? Just extrudes confidence.
6-0. This, right now, is very much on course to be the swiftest match we've seen on table 1 throughout the first couple of days. Oyangoren, well, it's a baptism of fire for him in front of the television cameras.
Yeah, you can just see the table on your bottom right of your TV screens. That is the table that you can watch on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. World 9-ball champion SVB's in action. And I've watched his last 2 breaks, and he hasn't made the 1 ball. He's been a bit scrappy on his break. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, because Shane is regarded as the best breaker Pool has ever seen. Dry break for Filler.
Yeah, that 1 ball was close to the middle, but he caught that near knuckle and remained on the table. So at least a modicum of table time for Oyangoren.
I've got a question for you, Phil. It's not a trivia question, don't worry. I've already got you with that one today. What's your thoughts on the switch? Obviously, you've watched a lot of pool, and I know from a player's perspective what the players want and how they feel. What are you seeing? What's your views on it all?
Well, if I was an elite player, the likes of Filler, Van Boning, Shaw, plenty of others as well, but you know that group I would be over the moon, because this, to me, increases your advantage even more because of your all-round abilities, and it reduces the impact of luck and maybe having a few run-outs off the break that are considered maybe cheap. So I personally think it's better for the top players. I think it reduces, it will never eliminate, but it will reduce the number of shock results we see, although yesterday we did see some.
No, I mean, listen, you know, pool, when you break the balls, you never know where the balls are going to go. So pool's a game of where the game starts after the break, really, to a degree. You know, you have to play what the table layout gives you. And I know a lot of the amateurs I've seen on forums commenting, and they feel like it brings more luck into the game, this newer break, if you like. But it doesn't. If you play 1,000 racks with the one on the spot and the wing ball's dead, and then you play 1,000 racks in this version, the better player is going to win more often than not at this version.
I definitely think so. There was no luck involved there, although Oyangoren went in off. It was a direct in off, entirely his own fault, and he will be made to pay for it. What I think with this particular break-off is that the real tacticians, the ones who have the strongest mind, the way they see the game, I think they will benefit as well. Coming to mind, the Filipinos. I just think it's one of those things that you don't want to see sport levelled out. You want to see the best prosper. And I think this promotes that.
So this 9 ball gets him to 7 racks. GJ, well, he would have known he was up against it when he's in the draw, but now he's got the best seat in the house to watch Joshua Fulda.
Yes, on table 2, it's 3-0 Shane Van Boening over Martin Breuer, and Van Boening is just breaking off in rack 4. We were saying, though, yesterday, Carl, you know, we did see quite a few early upsets. Torsten Homan lost the first match on the main table to Senarip Azar 9-5. Then Ralph Suke over on table 2 was beaten 9-5 by Yuri Pisklov. On the outside tables, Aloysius Yap, he was beaten 9-6 by Valery Koloyans. And Victor Zielinski lost to a teenager from New Zealand, Sullivan Clark, 9-2. So there were upsets out there.
I think the Zielinski one I would mark down as an upset. But the other 3, I'm just not so sure. I'm going to stay on the fence with that one. I think when we're looking at the names, we would go an upset. But when you actually watch them, you know, the German fellow who beat Suke, I thought he played really good. He was a strong player. I was impressed.
Couldn't agree more. Now these are the matches currently in progress. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and Ion Ladany from Romania, 3-3. Alex Gazakis is raced onto the hill against Paul Taylor. He leads 8-1. Tom Staveley from GB. He's 6-4 down to Holger Gries from right here in Germany. Almost a quarter of the field, by the way, are German, just indicating the popularity and the strength and depth of the sport in this nation. Ronald Regley from Switzerland, 6-3 up. And the Shane Van Boening, a one-sided nature of the match continues. He's now 4-0 up on Martin Breuer. He broke and ran in the 4th rack. Can't believe looking at that. Filler 7-0 in no time. By the way, I can give you some news as to what will be the next matches on tables 1 and 2 respectively. Thanks to Jake Aspie of Matchroom, who's just come over and given me the information. On table 1, it will be Skylar Woodward against Khalid Al-Ghamdi from South Africa, I believe it is. Or is it? I'll let you know about that one, but that's the matchup anyway. And it's Niels Fine from the Netherlands against Flavian Glont from Romania over on table 2. Yeah, it's Khalid Al-Ghamdi from Saudi Arabia.
Current World Pool Masters champion. He won the inaugural UK Open. He's just won the World Games. He's leading 7 racks to 0 and he's breaking in the 8th. One ball disappears again. He's been so consistent. This has been the best consistent breaking we've seen on table 1. Yeah, and the 9 ball's moved again. You could see the cue ball come off that side rail straight into the 9.
I'm glad you mentioned the World Games, Carl. It meant so much for Joshua Fuller to win that gold over in Birmingham, Alabama. Basically, the World Games is for sports that are under the International Olympic Committee banner, but those sports aren't in the Olympic Games itself. Snooker was played over there as well, and Carom, all in the same arena. It made for quite a sight, actually. As for snooker, well, in terms of world-class participants, it was sadly lacking, but you can't say that about pool. So good on the lads to go over.
Who won the snooker?
Kei Wei Chung from Hong Kong. It would be more appropriate if Joshua was called Hiller than Filler, because he's always on the hill, it seems to me. And he's arrived there, even by his standards, at turbocharged speed in this match. He's 8-0 up on Garry Oyangoren. So that's the order of play and the matches we've had thus far. We've seen some quality pool today. Tony Drago 9-2 over Ivan Perez from Spain. And then Albin Aushin. Well, I was very impressed with young Sandor Khan from Estonia. It must have been difficult going out there to play a player of Aushin's reputation and colossal status within the game, especially in front of the TV cameras. And I thought the youngster acquitted himself well, even though in the end, Aushin's experience told.
Push out required from Josh. Well, you just feel like you could push the cue ball anywhere. It doesn't really matter, does it? You're 8 up. He's going to push out into a jump. I think GJ should have a go at this one. There's no point in putting Josh back when you're 8-0 down, because if he makes it, you're not going to get another shot, are you? So have a go at it, GJ. Come on. Let's get a highlight reel for you, buddy.
All right, I'll jump.
There you go. He's going to jump. He's going to jump.
All right. Okay. I'm going to try.
When you're 8-0 down, it's always advisable to see the funny side.
Well, at least he had a go. That was nice to see. And what's he left?
He's relentless, isn't he? Joshua Fuller calling on the balls, 8-0 up. By the way, just back referencing to that World Games, must also congratulate Kelly Fisher, who won the women's 9-ball pool. What a year Kelly's having. In the women's game.
Very similar to Joshua, sorry, Phil. Everything they seem to enter, they seem to win. If they don't win, they're at the latter stages, aren't they? So, very fitting that they both won the World Games. GJ kicking at the 2-ball. Can we see a bit of magic? Can you go out on a little bit of a high? Just a quick recap. 256 players started the European Open. We're playing double elimination down to the final 64. So if you win 3 matches, you qualify for the last 64. And from the last 64, it is single elimination. Playing down to the last 16, that's when things get meaty. That's when it's on Sky Sports.
Now, I've received some additional information about the schedule. Yes, you will see Skylar Woodward play on this table, but before that, there's an additional match been put on here because of the speed of Fuller's, well, inevitable victory. It will be Tyler Steyer from the USA against Marco Dorenberg from Germany. Steyer looking for a really deep run here to improve his chances of making the US Mosconi Cup team.
As the cue ball sat on top of the 9. Can he get through to the potting angle? I believe he can. At first glance, I think Josh thought he was hooked, but he's not. And the writing looks on the wall. It's been a good performance. It's been a quick match. I'm sure GJ, even though he's not won a rack, has enjoyed his experience playing Josh. But at least he'll live to fight another day. The game is over.
There is surrender. The 9-ball does not need to go in. Unlike the first rack, which set the tone when Joshua Fuller enjoyed the golden break. Well, you can't have a better start than that.